frustrating too, though. You know, it's like you know, it's like you got in this case, 4 chefs in the kitchen.
Well, actually, that's not
it
true.
would have to be
at
more
that
than
point
one
we had
to be a band.
We had
in
5
this
chefs
case,
in that kitchen.
We had 5. It's 5 now. 5 at that time.
I want to ask you about that, but I know that's about it.
And quite frankly, we had 6 because Matt Serletic, like his influence on us can't be can't be dismissed. I mean, Matt is a big voice, and like Matt is the guy that we go, is this good? And Matt goes, no. And we go, okay, we're terrible. Everything we do is suck. It just totally sucks. And you know, and Matt has definitely been that person for us for a long period of time. So I mean, Matt's a big voice in that, because when he's definitely the person that goes, that's not good. You need to go in a different direction. And sometimes you don't know where the fuck you're going, and you're just like, he's just like, but right. He pushes you.
And eventually, the resistance has to like fade away, and like several chefs have to leave the kitchen, and like. Because eventually the meal has to be done, right? But the problem is, not everybody likes what they eat when it's all done, you know. And that's just part of being in a band, you know. You end up with things that sometimes you really love, and you, because of the colors that everybody brings to that initial, you know, the genesis of that idea. There is a certain amount of acceptance that, like, giving it to. Sorry.
Sorry, I want to add something to what you're saying. It's like, and Bent is a great example of this, because Bent is like, if you think about things like songs are built on an assembly line, in a way, and Matt Season was totally an assembly line kind of record, and so like Rob brings us that great song and has that beautiful melody and it's great, and then I come in and I'm like, and I kind of make a bed of like, okay, this is where I think it should be.
And we would leave, like we would literally leave and let you do your drum tracks.
Yeah, like I literally like, and I don't listen to anything. Like when I do the foundation, I'm almost always the first person to go in. So like the basic idea of what we're gonna do, there's not a lot going on, and I don't listen to a lot except for Rob's vocal, because my whole thing is like, whatever I do, I don't want to fuck up what Rob's doing. So I just want to be like, I want to support what he's doing, and I want to sort of bridge the whole.
I mean, he'll fuck up with me and Brian.
I'll totally fuck up. I can give a shit what these two do. But
what is your name again?
Yeah. But the reality is like, so then we go in and I kind of do that, and then like I'm done. Like I've done my part. And with Mad Season, like when I was just playing drums, I was done. I was like, okay, well that's what I think it should be. And then Kyle comes in, or Pookie comes in. Pookie comes in and lays down that fucking awesome bass line. And Kyle comes in and like the beginning, that intro guitar lick is like, you know, I mean, that's beautiful. And I never thought that that's what he was going to play over top of what I did. By the way, it was totally an accident.
That was an accident, right? When you did the...
What key were you just playing in?
Oh, no, I was just... I just couldn't get my hands off the guitar.
So it's F sharp is what it was.
Before I did, because when I wrote it, I did an E minor, because I used to do everything in G, because it's the people's key.
You know what, you were capable of.
A lot of times he writes songs in capos. I didn't really start using capos because I'm sort of classically trained.
How to play guitar.
Classically trained, so I would always just transpose, which means...
Hold on, I have to interrupt for a second.
Not to get
a capo basically is this. For you guys that don't know what a capo is. A capo is basically this, and what you do is you put it on the guitar. So if I'm playing here, if I'm playing this shape, it's a G chord. But if I'm with the capo, if I put it here, it's a C chord. I'm playing the same fingering, but it's a C chord. And that's what a capo does.
And people like me that don't play guitar very well, I only use a capo because I don't know the other chords.
So because of that situation, I was used to seeing it played with the capo. When we started doing guitar parts, a lot of times you're plugging into a lot of different amps and a million different guitars and trying to find the sound that inspires some direction, you know, to spend more time on that particular part. And because I was thinking of the capo key, and now we were in this new key that whatever Matt had suggested or how we ended up, I actually played those notes in the wrong key when the thing started, but we loved it. So that's how you ended up with it. Which sounds really fucked up. And then it was like, and then I realized right before that it was the wrong key, and it was like, you know what I'm saying? So it was like, and then you see Matt like on his feet, the engineer's on his feet. We're just like, And you know, I'm sitting there going, I should probably take credit for this. Like I totally.
I think that's an important part to.
And it's not the only #1 single, by the way, that had its best moments because of a mistake.
Yeah, I actually think that's an important thing, the happy accident thing, which we all like we search for those. Like you just want the happy accident so much, and another great example of this is Unwell. You know, Rob had this beautiful song, and again, it was much like Ben. Like, go ahead and play a little bit of how you brought it.
Originally, but here's the thing. Like originally, I had it faster.
You know what? It was much faster.
It was almost like a Nelly song.
How does it go? Did we figure this thing out? Do you have it on?
I'm crazy, I'm just a little unwell. I know that now you can't tell. You know, like it was really upbeat, and for some reason, the demo that I sent to you guys was on a piano, almost like a ballad. And I was like, okay, here's the song, but I'm not thinking of it that way. I'm thinking like upbeat. And Paul's like, dude, you're crazy. That should be exactly where it is right there. Like, that sounds beautiful where it is. And if you make it up, it's going to make it sound stupid. So, and by the way, he's like, imagine that. Imagine. I'm not crazy. I'm just I can't tell. Like all of a sudden, I'm like doing limbo on the fucking deck.
It really did sound like that. It would be very appropriate for this.
That would have been horrible.
But you know, so we get into this thing, and so we decide that we're going to kind of, you know, cut the time and sort of make it so, you know, that's such a busy melody that da 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 da. So marking the time in a longer way made that melody speak a little more. But then so like we had this what we thought was a really good song, but we needed some sort of intro. And
Kyle just bought a banjo.
No, I bought a banjo.
You bought a banjo.
I actually bought a banjo off Peter Stewart. My friend, our very good friend.
Okay, you guys remember Dog's Eye View? Everything falls apart, and then I get to try to put it back together. Well, it falls apart. You can count on that. Peter Stewart is Dog's Eye View.
Peter Stewart is Dog's Eye View, and he's a very good friend of ours. And one day he called me. He was like, "I'm getting rid of a lot of shit," and I was like, "Well, I'll take that banjo." And he had a really cool banjo that was. It was basically a guitar that was kind of tuned like a banjo. So you could play it like a guitar. So I was like, I'll take that. And I bought that from him right before we left to do Mad Season. So we were talking about this thing, and we're like, well, we got this banjo thing. And Kyle was like, well, let me see that. And then
Never played it before.
You've never played it before, yeah. And then you leave Kyle alone for 2 seconds, and he comes up with... something that's in tune.
But by the way, I want to point out to our guys, can I get a little stool out here and more wine? I feel like we're in this moment now.
I want nothing but more wine.
You guys deserve to hear that a little bit.
It's funny because like these songs, there's a lot that goes into making what I think is like what we all think is a great song, and it's lyric and a melody has to be key. It's the first thing that you have to hear. Like when you hear a lyric and a melody that moves you, that has to be the first thing because it has to be something you can play right off the cuff and that it would move you. But to make a great album or make a great record or make a great moment that's going to be on the radio or do something, there are certain things that we've done as a band that have only existed because of Kyle. Like Unwell is this.
Well, here's the thing. The thing was,
give me Unwell. Give me Unwell.
I can't do that over that chord and play at the same time, but when the thing about a banjo is it's always, although I think we always associate it with bluegrass, when you listen to the way it actually sounds, it always reminded me of an Oriental flavor because of the sort of punchiness of it and the tinniness of it.
Also,
and so I'm the kind of person that's always thinking about how can we, because honestly, Rob's melody's great, the song's great, very simple progression. You know, and I'm the kind of person who's always thinking about a way to add some flavor to it that bends your ear. What? That bends your ear. Why are people laughing?
Oh, I'm pouring wine over here.
That is
Everyone
funny.
over here
Pouring wine is
realizes
funny.
what a lush I am. How many people have seen us on the fucking summer
I
tour?
know, funny.
How many people have realized how much wine I drink during the show?
Do me a favor, Kyle. Can you also do just a little bit at the beginning of Real World?
Now, Madish came up with that video.
like it's those little moments that make a record a little bit different, because with that song would have been a good song no matter what, but without that intro, that makes it
Well, hold on.
iconic.
Can I add something?
You already know
Can
it.
I add something to this? Okay, everyone, close your eyes. And this is gonna work better for the older.
Yeah,
part
everybody
of
like our age and older.
Everyone our age and older. Okay. Think about this. All right, ready?
Close your eyes and think about the Rockford Files.
Close your eyes. Think about the Rockford Files. Kyle, play that riff. We were totally aware of the fact that we were this close to ripping off the Rockford Files thing. This close. And we were like, you know what? We don't care.
Built a goddamn pop hit out of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Back to the band thing too, by the way. I did not want that song on the record.
Oh, you hate
I
everyone.
still fucking can't stand that song.
That's funny. I gotta say, I went through a different period, and a remarkable thing happened when, you know, when Adam left the band, when Adam was no longer here, I should say, you know, there was a hole left in the band. So we were like, well, how are we gonna fix that? And so I moved from drums to guitar. And I gotta say, a remarkable thing happened when I did that, where I got to hear the songs differently, because I had been playing them for many years. You know, when I would play, you know, Real World, it'd be like that was the opening fill or whatever, and I would play the drum part, and I'd be like, God, if I had to play this fucking part one more time. And I gotta say, now, as a guitar player, it's my favorite song to play in the set. Like, I love playing it.
You know what's funny? Here's how
And I need to add why. Because I realized when we play that song, you guys love it. And like, that's like, what that gives to us when we're on stage, like when we go, you know, this is not the right key, but, you know, like our part. Hold on, actually, I'm looking right here.
All right, can we take another question?
What's it?
Like, you know, we're playing that fucking song, and it's like, the amount you guys, like, the whole room just goes, fuck, yes!
Yes, that is.
Awesome.
So you guys know when you come see us at a show, that is that
like
song.
heart opening for us.
We like when we do we're rehearsing, we do anything. We pass over Real World. I don't ever want to hear it. I never want to play it again when there's not people in the room. But it's one of my favorite songs to play in front of a crowd, because I feel all of a sudden that moment that we all had back when we first heard it together, and we were all part of that together, you know? And I say us because some of you actually weren't alive when it was written. But the idea that like some of us, you know, at that moment, like when first it was our song on the radio. Randall, what do you got?
Oh,